to. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Drew. Drew Smith is a business credit and finance expert with over 20 years, a 20-year career in helping small businesses in over 23 countries. As owner of the Business Credit Guy, he specializes in helping small business owners get access to funding around their EIN, not their LLC, to remove personal guarantees to protect their assets, all while unlocking cash flow and capital to grow. He and his partners have developed over 43,000 businesses, built business credit while recession-proofing their businesses and building exit strategies. As a strong presenter and educator, he has given keynotes to tens of thousands of entrepreneurs and continues to work with small business expos, Chamber of Commerce, and nonprofits in all 50 states. As an ex-financial advisor for HSBC, he left Wall Street corporations to work for Main Street. With the love of travel, Drew has been to over 123 countries and lived in 5, and has relocated from Hollywood, California to his current home in Port Charlotte, Florida, with his lovely wife, Leslie, and their golden retriever, Chips. Welcome, Drew.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much, Kristen, for that lovely introduction. I felt exhausted just actually listening to it as well, actually. I was thinking, wow, that sounds like a long career. But good morning and welcome, everybody, to our webinar today for Being Bankable. I want to thank the Realtors Association and Kristen for organizing this. I'm really quite excited to talk about today one of the most underspoken about topics in the world of business. It affects every single industry here in the United States. Today, we make up as small business owners over 46.1% of the economy today. And I have dedicated my life now to not only being a small business owner, but helping people in every industry, including the real estate industry, an industry which is very dear and close to my heart. Because if we don't look after ourselves and our own businesses, well, of course, not only does it affect our families, ourselves, but it also affects the communities as well. And that's the number one thing that I want everyone to be able to take out of today. We do have the chat box open today. I'm going to do my very best to take some pause, and if I see any questions, I'll certainly do my best to answer them along the way, and if not, I'll definitely do that at the end. But I do want to welcome a few people that I can see here. I think we've got Oriel here, I've got Carrie, Sabrina, Denise, Monique, and a few more joining us right now. Thank you so much for being here this morning, and let's get everything going right now. So I am speaking on behalf of my company, the Business Credit Guy, and with my strategic partners, we work with the real estate industry and most industries in all 50 states here in the US. What we're really going to be diving into today is really understanding that if we are not an employee, then we have our own business as a self-employee, or we are working as a 1099 employee. And we want to look at some of the reasons why we actually do that. And when it comes to any money in our business, are we using that in the right way? We're going to talk a little bit about business credit, because the most common misconception about business credit is that, hey, I need to take out a loan or get into debt, which is the last thing that I'm really going to be speaking about today. So we're going to look at all the positives of that and taking away any of the negatives. Also going to be talking about this word bankable, you know, what it really sort of means and how to sort of break that down in 4 easy steps. If you do need business or do need money in your business, I am going to be also speaking about how to be able to get that when you need it, always guaranteed. Because I find that 82% of businesses, according to our latest statistics, seem to run out of money at some stage. We'll be talking about what an EIN truly needs to be used for, and what are all the advantages of using EIN credit. And really, lastly, I really would love you to take away today that going forward, that your social security number is none of your business's business. And I would say that 95% of businesses that I speak to, and this is over 1,200 one-on-one conversations every year, and then thousands on podcasts and webinars and chambers of commerce and seminars, it's the same old problem over and over again, that when we start to use our social security number and mix it with business, it causes problems. It causes problems with our personal assets. It causes problems on interest rates and terms and what we can borrow. So it was not designed for business. So let's just stop using it for it and do things the right way, because there is a much better way. Lastly, we'll also touch on building an exit strategy. Maybe you want to do what you're doing right now forever, but maybe one day you don't. Maybe one day you'd like to create a sellable asset. Maybe one day you'd like to build a legacy, for your family. And by structuring our businesses the right way and just doing a couple of different things, it's not difficult. It's just a little bit different. We're going to be able to do that. I'll just ask as well, if anybody does have the opportunity to put your mics just on mute, just for the moment, just in case there are any background noises that we don't get caught off guard. I truly appreciate that. So diving into, I suppose, why this is such a popular topic. And last year, almost 600,000 small business owners, including real estate agents and brokers, went out of business. Does that mean that they were bad businesses anyway? No. They came into a period like down here in Florida, we hit a slow season, or interest rates weren't going our way, or the hurricane came through and threw us off guard, or the pandemic was happening, or any of these outside factors of the world's economy that can affect our own personal economy leaves people to a stage where just because maybe not as much money is coming in, but we still have expenses to pay out. And if we can't access short-term cash flow to run and maintain our business, we may have to shut the doors. And we find the average business owner is generally needing around up to $83,000 to stay in business. So if we can get money in the bad times and not affect when we are in the good times, it's certainly going to put us into a much better place to be. So I suppose this is getting back also to a little bit of, why do we actually create a different structure? Or why do businesses operate in anything else apart from their self? Well, the most common structure that we create is a limited liability corporation. A lot of businesses will also create different types of corporations, S Corps and C Corps. I work with a lot of nonprofits that still operate in this actual way. When we start to look at it, there's two main reasons why we don't operate as ourselves. One, we're looking at this to separate the business from ourselves. The corporation that we create is actually classed as a legal person, meaning that we're on one side of it and the LLC is on the other. It creates tax deductions for us because business owners pay the least amount of tax legally possible. And should anything happen to your business, it should mean that your assets are safe. Meaning if my business goes under, I don't lose my house. So in theory, all of that works. We have this legal term called a corporate veil that is supposed to keep us on one side and our business on the other. Yet the second that business owners make the most common mistake of using their social security number for any of this, they pierce that corporate veil, basically negating the protection that you set up in the first place. So the question is, how do we make sure that we don't pierce the corporate veil, and how make sure that we do protect ourselves from our business in the way that it's supposed to be? Well, I'd like you to stop and just think for a second that imagine if there was a world where you knew and you knew and you knew that there was no way you would ever be turned down for any credit. No family assets would ever be placed at risk. You would always have the money to be able to run and grow your business to survive whatever life is going to show at us, and just to be able to need our operations to be able to continue to grow the business the way you truly meant. This is 100% of the things that I'm about to cover today. But just a quick second so we can get to know each other just a little bit. A little bit about myself. My name is Drew Smith. I was born in Perth in Western Australia. You could probably tell right now that I don't have a traditional South Floridian accent. If you've ever been to Australia or you even know where Perth is, it's on the west coast of Australia. The size of Australia and the US are almost exactly the same. Perth and Sydney are about the same distance from New York and Los Angeles. It's known as the most isolated city in the world. It was a beautiful place to be able to grow up. It's paradise. But we grew up watching American television and UK television and see all these wonderful places in the world. And I just knew I was always wanted to be someone that wanted to travel. Out of school, I got a degree that was based in finance and hospitality. Interesting mix because I wanted to travel the world and I wanted to make money. I spent a year after my very first trip going to Bali, Indonesia, learning the language, tasting the food, and falling in love with overseas. I first traveled Australia for a year, lived up in the Great Barrier Reef when I was about 19 years old on an island, 7-star resort called Hayman Island. It was not a bad life for a young guy. I met all of these interesting people from overseas and Europe, and I got a 3-year working visa, and I moved to London, and then secondly to Scotland in Edinburgh, and I was working as a financial advisor for HSBC, one of the world's largest banks. One of the things that working for a large bank, Wall Street type corporation taught me is that I didn't like working in corporations, and I was not really meant to be an employee. I was always going to be a business owner of some stage. Being able to travel Europe extensively and having this burning desire, I got offered a job on a cruise ship. I ended up working my way up, and I became the youngest cruise director or director of entertainment at sea for Holland America Cruise Line. I traveled the world for the next 10 years, and to date, I've traveled to over 123 countries. While there, I met my lovely wife, Leslie. She's from Michigan, which brought me over here after we left the cruise ships to living in the United States. The entire time I was on the cruise ships, my passion for finance and real estate never went away. I would work normally 3 months on, 3 months off, or 4 months on, 2 months off, and I would study consistently and start to invest and learn everything I could about real estate. I invested heavily here in the US and in Australia, and did almost every strategy you could think of. Once leaving the ships, I tried something that all of you that are in this industry and doing it currently as I admire, and I tried to become a real estate agent. It was a really tough time in the market for now, probably a little bit like now for some. And although I loved real estate, that just wasn't quite for me. So I really commend all of you, for being in this industry and doing what you do. I decided to get some new prospective clients, and I was giving a seminar one night on real estate and investing. And I was headhunted then by someone in the audience who needed someone with a background in public speaking, finance, and real estate. And they wanted me to be able to go and speak live on stage. So I did that for the next 10 years, up to 80 seminars a year throughout the US and Australia, teaching different types of business strategies, real estate investments, stock market strategies, and even e-commerce. Last year, I was looking for a little bit of a change. We'd moved down a few years ago from Hollywood down to South Gulf Cove here in Port Charlotte, which many of you know, and wanted to be closer to Leslie's family. And I met a incredible group of business owners that were helping other business owners in the world where I'd been in, but more specifically on business credit. The second we started talking about it, I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I changed my career. And now I work one-on-one with all sorts of business owners in this exact way. The thing that really took me out from wanting to not be an employee and be self-employed and a business owner now for over 20 years was just the ability to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live without the need to work or depend on others. And I think that maybe many of you have felt like that in your careers as well. Even as a real estate agent, even when we're working as a broker, we still feel the need that we get to run our own schedules and go and find our own work and get our own leads and our own clients and build a business, in the way that we truly want. I heard something the other day from one of my mentors. They said, Drew, a business owner or self-employed person would rather work 80 hours for themselves than 40 hours for somebody else. And I thought that was quite fun. It brings us all together on when we're running and building our business then, what is it, that we're truly wanting to do, and how can we do it in the right way? So let's talk about this a little bit, about these two main types of financing, of credit scoring, when it comes to business. We all know how things work on the personal side. I remember when I first came here, I didn't have over 20 years ago, I didn't have a personal credit score. So I had to go to the bank. Does anybody remember their first credit card? Mine was $500. And the only reason I got approved is I gave the bank my $500 so they would lend me my $500. And then after an entire year, I was able to actually get that money back and then become unsecured and build up. These scores are all based around our social security number. We know they go from 350 to 850. Anything seems to be a 720, or above seems to be classed fairly good. The problem is once you get over a 30% usage, they drop your business credit score and you hit a limit on what you can borrow down to your debt to income ratio. And the other thing that's really interesting about this is everything that happens in the personal world always gets reported automatically. So many business owners, if they've ever used their social security number for anything, they get frustrated that they can't get the credit they want. And to be honest, the terms and the rates, they suck. And they weren't designed for business in the first place. So we've got to stop using them. On the other side, any type of corporation, LLC, incorporated, S Corp, creates this EIN number. And most business owners look at it as taxes and payrolls and quarterlies, but they don't stop to think, well, that's actually the social security number of my business. And just as personal scoring can get a credit report, score and lifting, so can the EIN. But the most incredible thing about this is it's quicker, faster, easier to use the EIN. You get the best rates, often 0%, and there's no limit to what you can borrow, 100 times what you can borrow on your personal. It was designed for business. Scoring's much simpler. It's 0 to 100, and we would love to be around an 80 score. That's what being bankable means. You get the best terms, the best rates, go anywhere you want. And the great thing is the more you use it, the more it goes up. There is no limit to what you can build, on your business. And the interesting thing about this is that it is not automatic to report to some of these agencies and get this score. It's not a difficult thing to do going forward. And what this workshop is really about is just being a little intentional when we do this. So personal credit will build automatically, and business credit needs to be a little more intentional. And this is extended just to your business, your EIN. It's something that's going to make your business more valuable, not to the business owner. And it's going to allow you to be able to access your business credit reports and your credit scores. And once you put these few things in place, your business and life will change. This is going to put you ahead of all of your competition. It is going to allow your business to grow to wherever you want. If you want to add more properties in the future, or vehicles, or equipment, or other businesses, or brokerages, you can do it all easy on your EIN credit. We just have to go through the process. And once you understand these simple rules, you're going to love it. So the different types of business accounts that people seem to use in your portfolio could be net accounts that you need to pay back within 30, 60, or 90 days, retail credit cards to some of the big box online stores, lines of credits, major bank credit cards that are corporate credit cards, ones that don't have your personal name on it, vehicle fleet cards, and also gas cards. We'll talk about how to go through and access that today. There is over 4,000 banks and 3,000 lenders in the US that are happy to give you free money to run your business that you can pay back later. The great thing about this is you're not generally needing to bring any of your personal guarantees on this. If you have business insurance, it can lower it and give you access to funds when and if you need it. So there are 4 different types of business credit bureaus. And I guarantee that some of you have probably heard of these. Now, the most famous one is Duns & Bradstreet. They do most of the advertising. And that's the first credit bureau that you should be registering with. I'll explain a little bit more about that soon. One of the interesting things is they believe they almost invented this type of credit building, where the head of the credit building program, after 30 years, actually resigned and came to work with us, because we've achieved more in a number of years than he did in 30, which is quite exciting. Experian Business is the second biggest one. They used to only be in personal, and these agencies run completely different. You can go onto Apple Podcast on Experian Business Credit Chat Live. I was being interviewed on this topic nationally last week. We have Equifax, and Credit Safe is the new kid on the block. They're going to put out these business credit reports. You've probably already got one and just never seen it. They are public knowledge, meaning anyone can look at them. There is never a hard or a soft pull to look at them. The agencies do charge to be able to look at them or get a subscription. What these reports are really going to show is your credit score from 0 to 100, and then your credit limit, a recommended dollar amount that your business can borrow, and you don't have to put these personal guarantees up. Now, just fun. I've got a Experian Business Credit Report. It's a company in Michigan, and they did around $2.5 million in gross sales that year. Now, interesting question is, if you looked at a company that was doing around $2.5 million gross sales, what do you think that their credit limit might be? What's the dollar amount that it might be? And how much do you think they could borrow? I hear people thinking about, oh, well, Drew, they must be doing pretty good. So, maybe it's around 2.5 million. Some people say maybe it's around 1.5 million. Some people say maybe it's around, 10% of that or 4 times that. The truth is we never know until we look at the business credit report. Their credit limit was 10,600. So two questions come to mind now. Why would a credit report be low, and why do we even care? There's only one reason: your credit report or limits will have a lower limit, not reflective of the business that you're in. And that is because you didn't structure your business to become qualified, to make it available, which is something very simple to do that I'll show you can do yourself. And you didn't report any of your everyday expenses. Now, do you have everyday expenses in your business? I mean, I imagine that the gas that you put in your car is a business expense. I imagine the internet you use, the cell phone, any marketing dollars that you use, if you've got payroll, if you've got insurance, any of these things are everyday expenses. And when you let the credit bureaus know that you actually spend money in your business, they put that limit up and up and up and up and up. And now you've got guaranteed funds you can use on your business and never affecting your personal score. The other thing is then, well, why do we care about this? Why is this important to a business? Let's say that this business wants a transaction. Let's say they want to buy a business vehicle. I certainly know that during real estate, one of the first cars I bought was a BMW because I thought that that was the national vehicle of all BMW, of all real estate agents worldwide. So if they wanted to go in and buy a vehicle, they saw a nice BMW, let's call it 75K. And they walk into a dealership and say, I need to buy a business vehicle. Well, they're going to immediately pull up their business credit report, and then they're going to ask for a personal guarantee. Now, of course, as a business owner, we'll think, I don't want to give my personal guarantee for this. It's a business vehicle. They say, well, without the limits, you have to do that. So then everyone rolls over and says, okay, if you've got an incredible credit score, your rate might be 7%. If you've got a terrible personal credit score, you might be as high as 15%. Even at the best personal credit score, you'll probably be paying $14,000 a year in interest for that vehicle. It's personally guaranteed. It's not a business asset till it's paid off, and you won't become that full business vehicle. And if anything actually happens on the business, then of course you're on the hook. Let's take a quick look at a second example. This business does $400,000 in sales a year. By having their expenses reported, their credit limit is $234,800. So the EIN is worth almost $250,000 more. They've raised the value in this. But the great thing about this is this whole world opens up and changes. It's like there's been this VIP party going on that you've been paying for at high interest rate. And the second you start to become bankable, you get access to this VIP party, you're invited. Because when they go into the dealership, they get to sign and drive a vehicle on the spot for 1.9%. Now, from 7% to 1.9, we're talking that this company pays $1,000 for their vehicle in interest. The other one's paying $14,000 at best. So what's starting to happen now is you cash flow better, you pay less in interest, you can buy things today and pay for them later for your business when you get paid, commissions come in, accounts receivables, that sort of thing. And it allows you to run and grow, put more money into marketing to the way that you truly want. So that really is the overview, of business credit. It's not about getting into debt. Let's use the free money in the best rates possible to be able to get the things that we truly want. So when we talk about being bankable, it is really about making your business as attractive as can possibly be to the algorithms of business lenders. Almost every decision these days is made by a computer. And the computer is just going to go down the line, tick, 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 tick. And if it's missing something or doesn't have enough, it's denied. So one of the most incredible things is that we have studied over 7,000 banks, vendors, and lenders' biggest loans on every single topic. And we've taken all of the reasons that people get approved and all the ones they haven't and reverse engineered it all the way back down to here. It is like taking a test and us giving you the answers before you take the test so you're always improved. That's in essence what bankable really is, passing the test every time. Because anything that you have going forward will be determined on the answers you put, rate, amount, and term. We want to make sure that you know exactly what's there and you are always going to be getting an A+. The other way we might want to think about being bankable is there's 4 legs of the table. To get qualified, there are 20 different compliance items we have to go through. I imagine that most of you have probably done half of these or more without even realizing it. So we just want to look at what you've done and what you haven't and fill in the other quick ones you haven't. And I'll go through some of those just next. Want to make sure that you've got a good business bank rating. If you keep some money in your business bank account, that is just going to automatically allow you to be able to have a great business ranking. A low 5 is a great number to be able to be. The next is being able to have free business credit lines, trade lines, vendors, things like having a gas card at Marathon gas station that you get a bill once a month after you filled up your car with gas and you pay it on time. That is a free type of account that doesn't cost you anything. That gives you an example of, hey, this business owner knows how to use business credit. So let's just give them more and more and more. And lastly, having these strong business credit scores. 80 is a goal. Anything about 70 is incredible. And it does not take long to get there. So now we're going to go through and start to have a look at really the 7 steps of building this business credit. The first one is talking about becoming compliant or becoming fundable or lendable. There are 20 different items that we have scaled this down to out of over 125 that some of these credit analysis companies look at. And if we can go through and tick these off, that's going to allow you to be able to be fundable for any type of business credit. It means that you look like an incredible company. I often think of a New York Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week. And when you see a supermodel on the runway, wow, from the camera's angle, they almost look perfect from every single place that camera or photo gets taken from. Does that model look the same when they wake up in the morning? Or does there need to be a little bit of hair and makeup and juice to be able to make them look like the supermodel? So when a bank or vendor or lender looks at your EIN, do they see the supermodel or do they see the one that's just woken up? Or I spoke to a business owner the other day and they said, Drew, they look at the supermodel that got ready, then went out all night and then woke up with a hangover the next day. So sometimes we need just to be able to put a little bit of hair and makeup on to do it. So what are some of these simple compliance items? One, we've got to have, a great sort of business name. And that, of course, needs to be registered with the state and the IRS. We want to have a business address. Any business that is registered at a PO box is not qualified. It's not compliant. A home address is possible and it can build business credit, but having a physical or a virtual location is better. In this day and age, if I don't have a business address, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get a virtual address and have some of my mail sent there once a month. But if Chase Bank looked me up, they would see an actual physical commercial location and not my house. Why is that interesting? Because if a bank looks at you running your business just from home, they're going to believe that you're 10 to 20 times more likely to default on your loans. So let's not give them any red flags. We can take care of these things, and it's a very inexpensive things to do. Of course, if we're just a sole proprietor with no EIN, that doesn't qualify us, so we must have that. Next, we have a business phone number. I can't tell you how many businesses I come over on a weekly basis that have been running for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they're still using a personal cell phone number. It's just a second number they got. And that doesn't qualify, and that's not compliant. You can get a business telephone number for $10 a month, $20 a month. It rings through to the cell phone that you've got off an app. There are many great companies out there. GoDaddy do it, RingCentral do it, and this isn't inexpensive things to do. Of course, if you've got many people under you, you would have some sort of business plan. But we also want to make sure that that's not only linked to your EIN, but it's also registered with the one free telephone directory. This is something that's simple and easy to do and takes you about 2 minutes to get registered. But it's a compliance item that we need to tick off. So if somebody run the directory, they could find your business. Of course, you want to have a website and an email. I don't think in this group, I really need to go on too much about that. But I meet many business owners that are still running from a Facebook, advertising, and they don't have, a simple one-page website. Or the worst thing is they're running from a free email account. Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook are not compliant. It's 2024. If a bank looks at you and they don't see, if they see I have a business at gmail.com, not info at I have a business, they're two very simple things, not expensive, but once again, this is about just becoming compliant. Heaven forbid, I found someone with an AOL account the other day, and it's just not going to fly for these businesses. Got to have a business license if needed, and you got to have a business bank account. These are just an example of about half the items that you need. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks to be able to get compliant, and then your business is just set up for life. Being in real estate, and still today with my Airbnbs and renovations, and like so many of you as well, is all we're doing is we're just taking something that's already there and we're giving it a makeover. Sometimes it looks good, it needs a cosmetic makeover. Sometimes it's almost a complete rebuild. But once again, these are not things that are hard to do. Next, we want to establish with the reports of the main 4 credit bureaus. It is free to be able to register, with all of these. It doesn't take long to do it. Once you register, say with Duns and Bradstreet, it's normally about 3 weeks, depending if they're busy or not, to get your number back. But they're generally pretty quick and pretty on it. We want to make sure our compliant information is all taken care of first, and then we get registered with the credit bureaus to make sure that everything is the same all across. Then we can simply get down to the last part, which is building our credit. There are 4 types of tier credit. Getting back to when I first came to the country, and I remember that I had to first start with secured lending with my $500 deposit, and then secured. It took me a long time to go up the tiers of personal credit. This is much simpler. I like to think of it as economy, premium economy, business class, and first class. And you could be applying first class in the next 4 to 6 months, if not sooner. So when we look at tier 1 credit, what we need is some reporting trade lines. The difficult thing about this is that we want to find vendors and lenders that report. Only 7% of businesses, big box online stores report to the credit agencies. Meaning if you try this on your own, you could be wrong 93% of the time. These are all the businesses you've heard of. These are the top businesses in America, but we want to get compliant and structure the right way. So they want to give you money, and they do, and they want to give you these trade lines, and it's simple to be able to go ahead and do it. These tier 1 accounts are ones that are just easy to get, that you could almost get today. Things that you'll pay off, say with like in a month or like 2 months' time. The limits aren't terribly exciting. It might be $1,000 or $2,000, but it gets you in the door. Any of your favorite gas stations, available that do this. Home supply stores, office supply stores, hardware stores, any of these types of stores, Uline, Quill, Granger, these are all great ones. You don't have to use them forever, but hey, if you can order some trash bags instead of from Publix and get something from Uline for a month or two, and just pay for it that way, and then your business credit score goes up, and now you're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, more in your business, it's worth it. So we're a little strategic in the beginning. The minimum spend's normally around $50 to do that. The next part that we just want to make sure is that if you're going to go about it on your own, and you just want to make sure that you know the ones that are reporting. Otherwise, it's like spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere. Once you've had 2 or 3 of these accounts, and the reason that we like 2 or 3 is each one reports to different agencies. So Marathon Gas Station may report to Experian and Duns and Bradstreet, and Uline might report to Credit Safe and Equifax. So by having 2 or 3, we get a nice blend, and all of our scores raise at the same time, so you'll never be turned down for credit again. You don't want to ever walk into somewhere and they pull one report, but you've only got the opposite one they're looking for. So we take care of that easily. And then they just report to the trade lines. Really simple. We'll get copies of the business credit reports. We'll check that things are reporting. There are a number of different ways to do this. Nav.com is one way that I find is one of the most inexpensive ways to do it. So you could check them out. I have no affiliation with them. My Credit Score IQ is another one. Sometimes they'll charge up to $200 for a report. Sometimes they'll charge $85 a month for subscriptions. I'll be able to show you how to get it for $1 today. So really simple and easy. So then, once you've gone after a couple of months sitting there in premium economy, they upgrade you to, from economy to upgrade you to tier 2, which is premium economy. You have more legroom, which means that you've got more time to pay them back, and you've got higher limits with bigger name stores to be able to do this. So normally they're not net accounts where you have to pay it back, more of a revolving account. So you can budget bigger, you can spend bigger, you can get more clients, you can do more marketing, anything that you may want to do in your business in that way. Things like your favorite store cards, things like your favorite, online Amazon. Does anyone here buy anything from Amazon? Guilty, right? Well, what if we just bought some things on Amazon now and just had it reported to the business EIN and we paid it off when the bill comes in? We're going to buy it anyway. That's building business credit. So you can see that this is not difficult. It's just linked to the business. After a little while in premium economy, tier 2, they move you up to business class, which is tier 3. Here's one of my favorite things about tier 3. If you have a business credit card currently, primarily what that's going to be is a card that is going to be linked to your business and your personal together. It's a hybrid. Personal card just to you, business to both, but where your goal would be is a corporate card. A corporate card is where your name is no longer on it anymore. I meet people every day, they're like, hey, Drew, I've got business credit. I'm like, well, why is your name still personally guaranteeing it? Because then you're paying higher rates, it's probably not reporting, and you're paying lower limits, those cards, I should say, as well. Once we get to tier 3, our name drops off that, and it's just in your EIN number, or you should say your LLC, your company name, and it's a business asset. Why is that important? Because if I have a $50,000 Amex card that's in my own name and one that's just in my business name, the one that's just in my business name raises the value of my business. It becomes more of a sellable asset. So I'm moving myself away from my company where I own it and not in it. And my company is becoming more valuable where maybe I could sell it one day. And this is how wealth is built in companies, raising the value and adding assets. Clear Card is one of my favorite, KLEER. It reports to all the agencies. I see a lot of people with cards like this. The bad news and good news that if your name's still on it, it's personally guaranteed, higher interest rates, lower limits. This particular one does actually report, to the credit bureau. So it's one of the rare ones that do it. So it's not a bad thing, but we want to get rid of all of those guarantees. So now that we can have a look at tier 3, we're almost now at the end, because this is what's going to put us into tier number 4, which is our first class. Once you get to a score of around 80 on this within the next 4 to 6 months, that means that you can go anywhere and do anything. That means that you're able to buy that car or that truck or that vehicle at 1.9%. You can get 0% interest, for 18 months to run and grow your business. You can go and buy an Airbnb if you like real estate like me and want to buy more investment properties. You can do it all on your EIN with no personal guarantees. It's one of the most unutilized tools in real estate investing today, and I work with so many investors that don't even know about this. Maybe you're opening a new brokerage. So what you'll do is, instead of renting an office or just buying one yourself, you'll actually go and buy an entire strip mall. And now in the commercial aspect, you'll rent out 3 of them to other business owners. They will pay for the entire mortgage and cash flow for yours. So you're not paying for it. And now you got a $2 or $5 million asset. What's great is we'll put that in another LLC or corporation. We'll funnel money through that, and we're going to build business credit in that way. They're going to have the highest limits available. You walk into Chase Bank, into the private banking booth. They'll ask how you want your coffee. There is almost nothing you can do in business. And this is how the top percentage of businesses are being in America. And quite frankly, how all businesses should run. We talked about vehicle purchase before. 75 grand over 60 months at 7% interest rate is $14,100 a year. We're looking at $1,000, 100 if you're doing it on corporate credit. I'm certainly, my cars that I buy, I don't pay personal rates for them just because I can get everything now on corporate credit. So it saves you money. It raises the value of your business. You don't have to put down personal guarantees. You get there quickly. And I know that for any reason, if you come to a slow phase in your business in any way, then of course we're able to get what we need when we need it, and then build up for those big times to be able to do that. The reason that we do webinars, the reason I'm so big on seminars and education, and Kristen and the association invited me today, is they don't teach this anywhere else. And business owners that I've seen, businesses that have been around, they're 2-year-old businesses, but they've been running for 20 years. because they set something up one way and they never change anything. And they wonder why they have all of these problems over and over again. I wish that in schooling systems around the world, they taught us how to become entrepreneurs. I wish they taught us how to build businesses, but they don't. They don't teach us about investing in taxes, and they don't teach us about how to grow money and make money grow for us and financial freedom and passive income. They normally teach us how to work for someone else and become a taxpayer. And this is one of the main reasons why it's such a powerful topic. This is a female-owned trucking company. They've been in operation for over 10 years. Said, Drew, I'm not interested in what business credit is. How does that apply to my business? I'm fine. Well, I pulled a business credit report, and she had $1,000 on a business credit report. Didn't even, want to use it. That doesn't mean anything in the trucking industry. 28 scores. Yet all we started to do was use some of the expenses she already have and get them reporting. And every 30 to 60 days, her score and credit limit went up 6,900, 15,600, 65,600. And then in 7 months, her limit was 724,200 with 96 and 98 scores respectively. I often get comments and feedbacks when they find out the industry that I'm in saying, hey, Drew, I don't need business credit. And that's okay. You don't have to spend it, but could you use it? Is there a element in your business now, or a business that you want to create, or a next business you want to get into, that if you had an extra $750,000 at 0% interest just sitting there waiting for you, making your business more valuable, no personal guarantees, could that help you in your business? Absolutely. And if our personal scores have been hurting at all, well, what we can always do is we can take the balances from personal, move them to extremely favorable rates here on business, and take the pressure off the personal, which takes it back up to 850 while we're building your business credit. There is no downside to doing this. Every business is different. I'm sure in your business, even if you don't spend a lot of money, that out of the 3,000 retailers and top stores, Fortune 1,000 stores here in the US, you'd be able to find something that you could spend a little bit of money on once a month. She uses Sprint mobile phones. She shops at Amazon. She does a lot of fuel at those gas stations. Lowe's and Home Depot. Buys a phone from Apple or a computer from Best Buy or Dell. During Hurricane Ian, which of course I lived through, as many of you did, and it really hit our area bad. Her commercial building was here, and the roof got ripped off of the commercial building, as it did for many business owners. Most business owners' only choice was to get an adjuster, put an insurance claim, and wait 9 months, 12 months, 18 months to get it taken care of. She was able to write a check then and there straight to Roofs Plus and get the roof put on for 75 grand. And be back in operation, pick up all the work the other companies couldn't do. She bought 2 other companies that went out of operation, and she 5x'd her business that year. Then when the insurance check came in, she paid it off. And now she can buy a truck for $300,000 for 1.9% sign and drive. So the power of having business credit is just using the money that's available to you as a business, on that way. So I wanted to make sure that we are talking about this in the right way. So I'm just going to see if I can stop my screen just for just a moment. And I just want to take a quick sec to just see if I can jump into the chat and just see if anybody might actually have any questions along the way at this time, or would like me just to keep on going. Any good questions? Is this, let me ask, type yes in the chat if you find the information interesting at all. Is there any questions about any reasons why you might like business credit or how it applies to your business? And if not, I'm more than happy to keep on going. I don't know, any more coming through? No. Oh, okay, wonderful. Will I meet with business owners one-on-one? Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll do next. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a link into the chat right now. And it is my pleasure to be able to meet with you and talk about your situation. What we'll do is we will look at your business specifically, and we're going to talk about where the business is, what you need to do, what you have to, and if this applies to your business. So there is the link in my chat. You can book a complimentary, no obligation chat with me, and we'll talk about this. We did a live seminar, of course, was it last week, I think, Kristen, correct? And I had 14 different appointments booked on my calendar right for this. So it'd be a pleasure to be able to meet. Thank you very much for asking that. Well, let's dive back in and let's have a look at what we can discuss on those meetings, and let's discuss how it can actually apply to your business. Once again, that link is in the chat, and I'm so glad that you asked that, because that was my very next point. One of the most important things in business is, how do these things apply to me and where can it actually take me? So what we're going to have a look at right now is a 150-point business scan. I take any business's information in the US and I run it through our powerful platform. Our platform has been developed over 28 years by data analysis, and it's going to start to look at your EIN in any structure that it is and look at how many of the 20 things that have you ticked off. Do you have any reporting trade lines? Do you have a business score? What are the steps to become bankable? Do I qualify for any money right now if I need it? And where do I actually appear from my local ranking search and search engine optimization? Any of these things about your business are going to be important to getting leads, getting listings, being the expert in your industry, and of course, growing your business. It takes me probably about 4 to 5 minutes to be able to run one with basic information. And all you need to be able to do is book an appointment. And what I'll do is I'll put that information in and I'll give you the results instantly. Let's watch a quick video on that.
As a small business owner, there is one of 3 paths you will be on. On the first path, the bridge is out. This is where 50% of new businesses do not make it past year 5. When a business on this path fails, it often takes personal savings, credit, and assets with it off the bridge. The second path is to nowhere. On this path, small business owners simply create a job for themselves with long hours and low pay. Rather than owning a business, the business owns them. This path typically ends when the owner decides to find a better job. The third path is the one which leads to success. On this path, the owner creates a small business that has value, is attractive to others, and can be sold for millions. Owners on this path know that recurring cash flow is the key, and they are constantly creating it. Our focus is on the success path. Creating recurring revenue comes through having a sound digital marketing plan and the tools required to implement it. At the same time, you must have the financial ability to build, execute, and maintain the plan. We provide small businesses with the 3 critical components of the success path. The first is the revenue plan and its use of the digital marketing suite. The second is your fundability by being ready and pre-qualified for financing at all times. And the third is a process of becoming bankable, where your business can stand completely on its own and stop relying upon you personally. When you take the pre-qualification assessment, it is going to show you where your business stands today in regards to your digital marketing footprint, your readiness to receive funding, and your status in becoming bankable. From there, you will be given entry into our system that will help you get on the path to success by mastering its 3 components.
So that scan is available for anybody and any LLC that you want. All you need to do then is just to pop your details in that chat. Let me know what day works for you, and we'll get together and we'll look at what stage you're at. It's one of the most important things that you could do. Well, I've spent the last 49 minutes educating, so I would just like to also talk just for a very quick minute about some top questions that we get through this, things that you need to know, and if somebody ever needs our help to be able to go through this process with them, the types of things that we actually do. The first thing that we provide is our platform. I give everybody free access to the platform at no charge to be able to look at your scan and where you are in the beginning. This has all of the information, though, for our members, 4,000 banks and vendors and lenders, and 3,000 reporting trade lines, who it reports to, how to get it, and what tier they're actually in. They are the relationships that we've built over many years to be able to always make sure that if we're going to work with a vendor or lender, that they report to our trade line to increase our credit score and, of course, our credit limit. It is a genius program. But it is a paint by numbers and step-by-step, easy to use. I'd love to be able to show you that. Our members that do work with us directly get full version of that program, and that's going to walk you through every single step, all the way from the very bottom to the very top in the shortest amount of time. Of course, once your business is there, it's set for life, and it will continue to keep growing. The lady that was at $724,000 right now, she's at 3.2 million. It'll go to 5 million and keep on growing. Your business gets more and more valuable every single year. We also provide coaching. You do generally have the choice of a virtual coach, which will talk through everything step by step, or we have a professional live coach that will work with you. It doesn't take long, maybe 2 hours a month, 3 hours a month you need to speak to your coach, but they'll come up with a specific plan of your business, help you strategize and walk through this step by step by step, hold your hand and show you all the ins and outs of this to make sure that you don't have to do anything on your own. You concentrate on what you do best, we'll do the rest and make the company valuable, protect your house, protect all your assets and make sure that you can always grow. We also do business valuations included as well. Why is this important? Well, maybe right now you've got your business insured. If it is insured, it's probably insured at a guess amount, which means you're way overpaying for it in insurance or you're underpaying for it. In either way, if you're underpaying, we could get into a lot of trouble if anything ever goes wrong. So we want to make sure you're covered. But what I find most of the times is you're overpaying hundreds or thousands of dollars. With a business valuation, it brings it all up into the line and it's going to save money, protect you and the business. Now, normally when we're looking at this, our valuations for everything that we do go well over $20,000 to do it. For our entire lifetime package with the live coaching, it is $9,995 if somebody chooses to work with us, or with a virtual coach, it is $4,995. As a special price for our webinar here today, as a thank you to Kristen and the Realtors Association, I will be offering any members that enroll from the webinar through the association will be able to get everything, including the live coaching, for half price at $4,995. I'm not doing any business today. I don't even know if this is right for you or not. The first step is to do a free consultation and get your business scan and see it for yourself. And then if you need our help, we can do that after. But I am doing this for a limited time for the next week. All of our memberships for the Realtors Association at half price at $4,995, including the live coaching. We also include business expense reduction reports, complimentary. We've been able to save our companies anywhere from $400,000 up to $400,000 by just showing them a few different ways they're overplaying in their business. We include a live business coach on not only just for your business credit side and strategy from the finance, but also a fractional CFO that will also sit in with you on your business. Maybe you're bringing in a new employee. Maybe you're looking at buying a new location. Maybe you need help with your profit and loss statements. They're able to come in completely unbiased on your side and give you that third-party opinion and not have to pay $1,000 for it. A couple of other things that we do include in our membership is access to payroll services, merchant services, bookkeeping services, and marketing services that report. And every vendor and lender in the United States on all of their underwriting, who they report to, and how to get approved before you apply. This means you'll always be guaranteed for funding in your business for the rest of your business's life and existence. Best of all, we come 100% guaranteed. If after a year of working together, we couldn't get you to an 80 or above or become bankable and pay the lowest rates often 0% available in the market, then we, of course, would return your money. Why? Because we've done this over 45,000 times. Our technology's been around for 28 years and we do not fail. So I want you to let you know that if you do decide to work with us after your consultation, well, you've got nothing to lose and we won't let you down. Our platform is lifetime. There is no other ongoing fees to be able to work with us. The live coaching aspect lasts 1 year because we get you there in 4 to 6 months, but we do twice the amount of coaching for business strategy if you need it. There's over $30,000 worth of value. Our typical price is $9,995 with live coaching. We'll include the live coaching for anybody on our webinar through the Realtors Association for the next week. If Richard Branson often said that if someone offers you an amazing opportunity, you're not sure how to do it, just say yes, then learn how to do it later. Well, I think that guy knows a thing or two about business. So a couple of the top questions that I get about this is, how do you know if you've got business credit? We do a free business scan for you, and I show you how to then check your own reports for $1, and we can see automatically at no charge if you've got reporting trade lines and reports. Can you do it on your own? I met somebody that's been doing this for 7 years on their own, and they're still not past tier number 1, because 93% of the time they try and get a trade line, it doesn't report, and they're frustrated. They're finally working with us, and we'll have the bankable after trying for 7 years on their own the next 3 months. So what's your time money worth? I often don't recommend that owners try and sell their own houses, because they need to bring in a professional, because they'll be able to get much better terms, rates, sell it for a better price than trying to save some money on commission and do it on their own. The exact same thing here. This is why we're small business owners, to work our own expertise. It takes around 2 to 3 hours a month to be able to do this, the same time that it would take to be able to pay a bill, or order some supplies at the moment. So no more. Dun & Bradstreet tried to do this once at $20,000 a year, every single year, for lifetime. If you stop using them, your score would go down. There's probably a reason the CEO left them to come and work for us. If you need help, not only will I be there for you personally, every step of the way, my entire team will, and your coach is there. So there is nothing you need to do on your own. We'll be there with you to answer any questions. You can call, text, or email us 7 days a week. If you need money now, can you do this? Yeah, absolutely. We have 17 different types of lending products for businesses available. Your business scan will immediately allow you to access and apply for any of those today. We also do offer financing available on our memberships. So if you didn't have the $5,000 up front, could we get you the money in another way? Absolutely, we could. Let's talk a little bit about business exit strategies. So the majority of people that I know, they're going to do probably, 1 or 2 things with their business. Maybe they're going to sell it one day, or maybe they're going to pass it down to legacy or kids. The latest statistics have shown us that 72% of businesses that try and sell do not sell. The only reason why is the business owner is the value. Because they're so personally guaranteed and tied to everything, when it goes to sell the business and they're not coming with it, well, a couple of old assets that are personally guaranteed doesn't sell for much. A website and some past clients don't sell for much. By building business credit today, it makes the business owner not part of the business. It makes the business valuable on its own, worth 10 to 100 times what it currently is, and it makes it a sellable asset. Second strategy, if you're passing a business down for a legacy or bringing children into it, a family business, it makes sure that they're protected for generations to come. And lastly, by having business credit, you can go and buy other businesses. I had a pest control company the other day that went and bought another pest control company that was going out of business, and they doubled their business by their book of business and their vehicles and their equipment. There are many other businesses that you entrepreneurs may want to purchase in your market. And this is the way to do it, where you don't have to run the business. You can have the new owner of the old business run yours, and you can sail off into the sunset, keep your assets, keep your capital, and not have to sell. So that's a third option to be able to do that. If you do want this for free, yes, it is a tax write-off. Of course, you are able to speak to your accountant, and it's a business deduction. I don't know any other business asset, no computer, no truck, even property where you could buy it for $5,000 today for your business and it's worth $100,000, $500,000, or $5 million in years to come. It keeps on going up, and you can write it off. Some people don't want to move forward with their business. Some people, the 2-year-old business has been running for 10 years. People often come up with excuses that they need to think about it. People think that maybe now it's not the right time. It could be the economy. It could be the election. It could be the interest rates. The truth of the matter is that we can't control outside of the world's economy or national economy, but we can control our own. And if in 6 months' time from now, you could be in a position where you're 5xing your business versus being the same or losing money, what would be more valuable to you? If you're waiting on payments, if you're waiting on monies, you're waiting on commissions, we could certainly work something out for you. If you have no time to be able to work on your business, this will actually buy you back your time, and we do a lot for and with you. If you want to bring your partner or your business partner on the call, great, that's no problem. We'll just add them and we'll talk through everything together. There are no other programs that I've seen, that really specialize on the business owner. This takes you behind the brokers of finance, behind the banks, and it takes you back into their underwriting system where we have all the answers. So finally, you're in control to do what you want, when you want, on the best terms that you want. If you don't have money now, why? You know, the question is, what have we done in our life to be able to get ourselves in? And if we don't change something today, then we're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different result. The great thing about this program is, as instantly as you start to become bankable, you instantly get more cash flow. On day one, we can open trade lines today and we can get you money to get your business out of the hole. So when more commissions come in, more money comes in, more account receivables come in, you're going to be in a strongest position to be able to blow your competition out of the water. Most companies out there, we found that, you know, probably don't even last 5 years. 600,000 shut last year because they're continuing to bootstrap their business. We want a recession-proof, hurricane-proof. We want to protect ourselves, our family, and make sure that if anything happens, they can't come take your capital assets and that no business will ever shut down again. Tony Robbins says, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And I think that's that little thing of insanity with business owners I speak to. If we have problems but don't find the solutions, well, our problems aren't going to change to be able to do that. So once again, I'd love to be able to meet you. I'd love to be able to give you your free business scan. I'd love to talk about the pluses and minuses for your business. If it's not right for you, I'll be the first person to say, if we can make it work for you, I'll be your #1 fan to be able to make that happen. So I do want to thank you very much now for spending the last hour with us. I really hope that you got something from it. If you do have any more questions, you can put them on the chat. You can book an appointment. You can email or text me at any time. My personal cell phone number is 941 200 3150. That's 941 200 3150. I do work by appointment, probably like you. So if I don't answer immediately, I'll text or I'll call you back as soon as I get the first chance. I wanted to thank Kristen and the Realtors Association for having me along today. I hope you found it valuable. Once again, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Business Credit Guy. I'm here to make sure your business doesn't just survive, but thrive. Thank you very much, Kristen.
Thank you so much, Drew. We appreciate you. And I'll send this recording out to our participants.